Imagine reporting your missing daughter and being told she'll probably come home. Days become weeks. Weeks become months. Then police search the house where she's being held. They hear children's voices. They leave. Your daughter is still alive. But she won't stay that way for long. Tonight, we're talking about one of Europe's most infamous criminal cases. Not just because of one monster, but because an entire justice system failed the children it was supposed to protect. This is the Marc Dutroux case. Welcome to the podcast You Can't Unhear. Before we begin, this episode contains references to crimes against children. We'll focus on the investigation, the victims, the police response, and the lasting impact on Belgium. If this is a sensitive topic for you, I recommend you to stop here. Viewer discretion is advised. Let's start. Marc Dutroux was already known to Belgian authorities long before the crimes that made international headlines. In 1989, he was convicted of abducting and sexually assaulting several teenage girls. He received a lengthy prison sentence. But after serving only about 3 years, he was released on parole for what officials described as good behaviour. That decision would later become one of the most criticised parole failures in Belgian history. By 1995, Dutroux was living near Charleroi with his wife, Michelle Martin. Hidden beneath the house, he had constructed a concealed basement cell. From the outside, it looked like an ordinary suburban home. Inside, it became the centre of one of Belgium's worst criminal investigations. On June 24, 1995, 8-year-old Julie Lejeune and her friend Melissa Rousseau disappeared while walking together. Melissa and Julie went out for a walk, promising they would be back within half an hour. They were last seen walking happily hand in hand, waving at passing cars. When they failed to show up an hour later, their parents scoured the town, getting more and more frantic. In the following days, they had thousands of photographs of their daughters stuck up all over Belgium. The entire country joined the search. Their photographs appeared everywhere. Their families refused to believe they were gone forever. Tragically, they were right. The girls were still alive. They now know Melissa and Julie could have been saved, but for a series of appalling and unforgivable blunders by the Belgian police. When asked how police reacted when they reported their daughter missing, the parents simply said, No. They didn't take it seriously. Months later, investigators searched Dutroux's property. One officer later acknowledged hearing what sounded like children's voices. The explanation given at the time was that the sounds came from outside. The search ended. The hidden chamber remained undiscovered. When asked if investigating those whispers would have changed the outcome for Melissa and Julie, he deflected, saying, "The prosecutor declared that the hiding place was totally undetectable." That missed opportunity would become one of the defining failures of the investigation. The failures didn't stop there. Authorities had received warnings from informants. There had been allegations that Dutroux was building hidden rooms. His criminal history was already well known. Even members of his own family reportedly expressed concerns about him. Yet none of those warnings prevented what happened next. Later that year, Dutroux was briefly imprisoned for unrelated offences. During that period, Julie and Melissa remained locked inside the hidden cell. Michelle Martin later admitted she knew they were there. She cared for the dogs, but she did not bring food to the girls. Both children died before Dutroux was released. Martin was later convicted for her role and sentenced to prison. The crimes continued. Paul and Betty Michel's daughter Anne was Dutroux' next victim. Betty remembers. What I also remember of Anne is that one day we went to the supermarket and she saw a picture of Julie and Melissa hanging a poster. And she said, "Mama, it must be terrible to lose your child and not to find it again. And always when I come back to the supermarket, I think of it." And a few weeks later, who could think that she would become the victim of that same person? Unbelievable. Anne Michel and her friend Effie Lambrechts were last seen leaving a theatre in 1995. It's now clear Dutroux stalked them in his car as they boarded a tram. Anne was chained like an animal, chained naked to her bed so she couldn't run away. Again, police fobbed off desperate parents. All the more extraordinary when you consider Dutroux' own mother had written to police warning them her son might be the kidnapper. They know Anne was buried alive, but they don't know when they killed her. The parents would like to know what really happened. A few months later, Dutroux' next victim was 12-year-old Sabine, kidnapped and locked in the dungeon. She would be taken upstairs to be raped. Police later found a letter she'd been writing to her mother describing the abuse. "I got a cup of coffee and a sweet. You know why." Then we went back upstairs. I asked what we were going to do. He said, "We're going to start all over again." Dutroux told Sabine her parents had refused to pay a ransom. For nearly 3 months, this little girl believed her parents had abandoned her. In her letter, she wrote, "Mama, if you can scrape together 3 million as quickly as possible, please. I am so sorry I must ask you. I hope that you win the lottery." Today, Sabina knows the truth about Marc Dutroux, who claimed he was protecting her from his violent boss. She describes him. "He's everything at the same time. He's a pervert. He's completely crazy to think up strategies like that. He's got to be mad. He was born without the feelings. They are not there. They are missing, so he cannot have them." When asked if Dutroux knew the pain he inflicted when he raped a 12-year-old 20 times and left her chained by her neck to a bed, his lawyer explained. He will have said to himself, because he cannot imagine that he will have said to himself like, "Oh, it will only hurt the first time, and the times after that, it will not hurt that much anymore." Dutroux' final victim was 14-year-old Letitia, abducted on her way home and thrown into the cell with Sabine. Sabine recalls, "We were always supposed to hide under the covers because it could be someone else, and we mustn't be discovered. Supposedly we would be killed if somebody found us." But by now, Dutroux was making mistakes not even the Belgian police could miss. His lawyer explains, he got caught because he went to kidnap a child in his own car, on which he had put his own license plates. The only thing missing on that car was just the mark Marc Dutroux, kidnapper of children. So he's stupid too. Or there is one other solution. He knew that he was not going to be caught, that he was protected in some way. Their rescue finally exposed the hidden basement cell and brought Dutroux' crimes into public view. On August 13, 1996, Belgian police arrested Marc Dutroux. During questioning, he eventually led investigators to the locations where several victims had been buried. The discoveries horrified Belgium. But public anger wasn't directed only at Dutroux. It was directed at the institutions that had failed to stop him. As investigators reconstructed the timeline, more mistakes came to light. Warnings ignored, information not shared, poor coordination between police agencies, missed searches, administrative failures. Each revelation deepened public outrage. Then came another embarrassment. In 1998, while awaiting trial, Marc Dutroux escaped police custody. Although he was recaptured within hours, the escape further damaged public confidence in Belgium's justice system. The anger had already reached extraordinary levels. In October 1996, around 300,000 people participated in what became known as the White March. Dressed in white, families marched silently through Brussels, calling for justice, accountability, and sweeping reform. It remains one of the largest demonstrations in Belgian history and ultimately contributed to major reforms of the country's policing system. When the trial finally began in 2004, it had been nearly 8 years since Dutroux' arrest. Hundreds of witnesses testified. The proceedings dominated European news. Dutroux was convicted of multiple kidnappings, murders, and sexual offences. He received life imprisonment. Michel Martin was sentenced to 30 years. Michel ller received 25 years. Michel Nioul, who many believed played a larger role, was acquitted of kidnapping-related charges, but convicted on unrelated criminal offences. Even after the verdict, questions remained. Throughout Belgium, many people believed Dutroux had not acted alone. Investigators found evidence suggesting additional, unidentified DNA traces in the cellar. Some participants in the trial also questioned whether every lead had been fully pursued. However, despite decades of speculation, no court has established the existence of a wider organised child abuse network connected to Dutroux' crimes. Those allegations remain unproven. For the survivors, the trial was never about revenge. It was about being believed, about ensuring what happened inside that basement could never happen again. For the families of the 4 girls who were murdered, there could never be a complete resolution, only answers that arrived far too late. Today, the Marc Dutroux case is remembered for 2 reasons. 1, because of the unimaginable crimes committed against innocent children, and 2, because it exposed how institutional failures can become just as devastating as the criminal himself. Belgium responded by reforming its police structure, improving cooperation between investigative agencies, and rethinking how missing child cases were handled. Those changes came, but only after irreversible loss. Nearly 3 decades later, the names Julie, Melissa, Anne, Ifya, Sabine, and Letitia are remembered across Belgium, not simply as victims of one man, but as the children whose stories forced an entire nation to confront its failures. Sometimes, history is changed by heroes. Sometimes, it is changed by tragedy. Thanks for joining me tonight. Until next time, stay curious, stay safe. Take care of your loved ones. I'll see you on the next episode of the podcast You Can't Unhear.